There is nothing worse for a comic artist than drawing a beautiful page only to have the printer accidentally slice off a character's face or the text because the margins were incorrect. Here is your master breakdown of the sizes, measurements, and structural differences between American comics and Japanese manga layouts. Let's start with the American comics page layout. American comics favor a taller, narrower canvas. This encourages vertical stacking of panels and expansive tall hero shots. They measure in inches and traditionally drawn on a heavy 11 by 17 inches Bristol board. Bristol board is the most common type of paper used for sequential art. And this is an example. This is the brand Strathmore, but there are so many other brands that you can buy on Amazon, Michaels, Hobby Lobby. But just to give you an idea how thick this paper is, let me see if I can show you a picture. This one is just the color of the paper. Video. Let me try to find a picture that can show you the thickness of these paper sheets. And maybe this one. Yeah, let's try this one. There you go. So you can see it's not thin at all. It's quite heavy type of paper, and like I said, it's very easy to find. This is another good picture. It can tell you the texture of the paper, and this is the brand. But like I said, there are so many other brands. But now we have to talk about measurements. Both American comics and manga page layouts are divided in three different areas. The number one is the safe zone or live area. And this is the area where all your main drawings, panels, text balloons, characters has to stay in this part of or the layout, because you don't want to get lost into the book's glue binding, which is called the gutter, or cut off by the printer's blade. The measurement is 9 by 13.5 inches. The next one is the trim line. This is the exact size the final printed book will be. The printer's machine aims to cut right along this line, so you want to avoid to draw important details in this area. And the measurement is 10 by 15 inches. And for last, we have the bleed line. This is the utmost boundary. If you want an artistic panel or a background splash to explode entirely off the edge of the finished page, which is called a full bleed, you must draw all the way out to this line. And the measurement are 10.38 by 15.38 inches. Quick break. This is very important. If you want to read Legends of the West, you can go on my website, one.comics.com, where I post chapters with every page that I've been working on constantly. I keep updating and posting new things. Also, you can even check my blog, where I write articles about the comic book industry, art supply, and storytelling. I post some old artwork, and you can even check my YouTube videos. Don't forget, one.comics.com. And now let's talk about manga page layout. There is a big difference between the American and the Japanese page layout from the type of paper that they use, the measurements, the size, and everything else. One of the difference is that manga uses metric system and is scale based on standard international paper sizes. Professional mangaka draw on B4 size manuscript paper, and the measurement for this paper is 257 by 364 millimeters. The safe zone, or Kihon Waku, pardon my Japanese, is 180 by 270 millimeters. The trim line is 220 by 310 millimeter, and the bleed line is 226 by 316 millimeters. Okay, so now you know the difference between American and manga page layouts, the measurements, the 3 different areas, and the type of paper to use. However, it can be a little bit confusing because even though I told you about the measurement and now you know about these 3 different areas of the layout, you might wonder where exactly I have to draw and where I cannot draw my manga or comic. I'm pretty sure that no one wished to see the artwork that they spent so many hours, days, months, and if you do like me, years of hard work to only find out that after your dream come true and finally you get to publish your graphic novel, you find out that some of the pages, the panels, or some main drawings got cut off by the printer or lost in the gutter. That would be a tragedy, but don't worry, I got you. Now I'm going to explain to you exactly in what area you can draw and in what area you cannot draw absolutely nothing. The safe area or zone, or some people call it the live area as well. This is the most important area of your layout. This is where the most important parts of your story has to stay. Can you draw here? Of course, yes, 100%. This is where all your main panels, dialogue, text, sound effect, character faces, and vital important clues of your story has to stay in this box. Why? Because if you place a speech balloon or an important details of your storytelling outside this line, eventually it will either get slid off by the printer's blade or it gets swallowed up by the book's center spine binding, the gutter, making it impossible for the reader to see without ripping apart the book. The trim line. What it is. This line represents the exact final size of the physical book. So in the printing process, the printing machine cut right at this line your page. So can you draw here? Well, it depends because you should treat this line as a danger zone, and the golden rule, just draw scenery, backgrounds, or unimportant parts of your character's body across this line, but never put anything important here, such as specific details or text balloons or a face or anything that it's valuable for your storytelling, because the paper shifts slightly during mass printing, and like I said, it can happen that in the printing process some part of your drawings get cut off a few millimeters, and the reader not gonna see your drawing entirely. It's gonna maybe see off of the body or face or anything else. So just make sure don't draw anything important. Just use the golden rule and you're gonna be okay. The bleed area. This is the absolute outermost border of the template. It's a safety cushion of an extra artwork that extends past the trim line. Can you draw here? Well, surprisingly, yes you can, but only for full page splashes or borderless panels. The golden rule is you only draw into the bleed area if you want an image to explode completely off the edge of the finished page with not white borders, and it's called a full bleed. But remember, if you want to do a full bleed page, you must ink or color all the way to the absolute edge of the bleed line. Why? Because if the printer's blade cuts slightly outside the trim line and you didn't color or ink the bleed area, your book will have an ugly accidental white strip or raw paper along the edge. Drawing into the bleed area ensures that the art looks seamless no matter where the blades drops. Okay, so this is my page layout for Legends of the West. So this is already pages that I already draw, as you can see, and this is the safe area, and I draw it myself. So it's 180 millimeters by 270 millimeters, which is 18 by 27 centimeters. So Japanese mangaka use the metric system. Europeans use the metric system. And because I'm Italian, I'm used to with the metric system, so I use it as well. But if you're an American and want to know how many inches are, so this one would be 7.0866 by 1.063 inches. And then I write you down all the measurement. And so this one is the safe area. This is where your main panels, your main drawing, the most important details, drawings go. And they are safe and they are not cut off or slide off by the printer or the middle of the, when you open the book like this one, for example. So they don't get cut off. You have your white area, you can see. So this page layout right here is B4 size. B4 size, and this is the brand. Deleter comic book paper. And this is the paper, the most common paper used by mangaka. This is, as you can see, is made in Japan, and it's not hard to find. Deleter is pretty much well-known Japanese brand for manga supply, and they have a website, deleter.com, and I'll put the website link and everything below. But you can find everything from pencil, ink, pen nibs, eraser, paper, and anything that you need to draw a manga. Also, you can find on Amazon, and that's where I bought it. Amazon.com. You just put in the search bar Deleter manga page, and it come out everything. It come out even this. They have a different type, different size. They have the ruled one that you already have your safe area, your bleeding area, your trim area. All is already ruled, so you don't have to worry about it to do it yourself, like I do it. Or they sell just plain white paper like this one, and you can see here it says, let me zoom, see it's a plain B, which is plain means there's just white paper. Type 135 B4. Make sure that you check the weight. This is basically the weight. Is premium paper 135. So let me take it out. Okay. So you can see here 135 kilograms, and there are 40 sheets. So the kilograms are very important, the weight of the paper, because some type of paper are a little bit thinner and others are a little bit thicker. This type I really like because it's not too thin and it's not too thick. So when I trace my sketch on my light box, I can see through fine, but it's not too thin that's get all wrinkly so easy, or create pleats, or maybe even when you erase it can even tear apart. I don't like too much using thin paper. That's me personally. Some people might like it, some they like it even thicker, but this one now on video it's kind of hard to see how thick it is, but it's not too thin and not too thick. It's like medium level. So make sure when you go online, make sure to check the kilograms. It's very important, because you might, one time I remember I didn't know anything about paper. I thought the paper was paper and that's it, and I ordered online and it was way too thin. I mean, it was horrible and small. I didn't even know about the size. So make sure to get B4, and this one basically is the scale of your drawing. If you, let me see, zoom out if you can see it better like that to give you an idea. So this is your B4 paper. This is your safe area where you can draw safely, and this basically is the classic international manga size that you find in every comic book store. And you can see here basically this is the safe area, and see how the comic book, the page get sliced. And then you have to consider in this part is gonna fall into the middle. If you draw here in this area, you go out and you write a text, or even you draw a face, see where it end up? Right here. So the reader, it can't really tear apart the book. So you have to, that's why there is the safe area, the bleed area, and the trim area. That to give you a guideline where to draw your panels and your main illustration. Now, I have the bad habit to draw out like this one, the air right here from the safe area. I really do. You can see here. Look at this. I really have the bad habit. But if you get trim here, it just cuts part of the body and part of the legs. So I really don't care. Obviously, if I draw a face here, it's gonna be cut. But if it's just the body, it doesn't really matter, because you can still see her hand and Tom, Huck and Tom and her. So even if you get caught, sliced, doesn't really matter. So you can draw, because there are entire pages. Let me see, like this one. Let me zoom out so you can see. So this one is beginning of chapter, I think chapter 5 that I'm working on. I'm still working on chapter 4, and then it's a chapter 5. And you can see this is gonna be a whole entire page. So this part is gonna get sliced by the printer. Right here, and this one is gonna end up in the middle of the book. But it doesn't matter because there are just trees. There's nothing important. Like I said, it depends what you're drawing. You can draw the whole page, and like this one doesn't really matter, because even if you cut this area right here, or this right here, or even the top, it doesn't matter, because it's just tree and bushes and stuff, so it's not important. But I really have a bad habit. Let's see if I find another page here. For example, I already cut off. She might gonna cut off a little bit, not too much, but still, it's just the part of her hair. I don't think this part is gonna get cut, but if you end up, for example, here on this area, she might end up a little bit in the middle of the book. So I have to be careful. Obviously, when I work digitally too, for inking and coloring, it's just black and white and gray tones. But I have to be careful. I have to have considering this, that the book, if it's gonna get print eventually, that's what my goal, to get the paper book. I have to consider all these factors. So this is, for example, it's a page that they draw the entire page, but for some reason they left this white area. They could have just drawn entirely. And see, this one right here, this illustration right here, it got sliced. Obviously the drawing probably was bigger. However, the main characters, the sound effect, is right in the center. So let's see, and this is another one, you can see. But see, for example, this one, the artist draw the main character in the middle, and then the weapons, they come out all the way to the page. Definitely they got slide off. She probably draw the entire till the edge of the weapon right here, and the sword too. And here, right here, you can see the end slide off a little bit. But it doesn't really matter, because we can see that she's holding a sword, and this is the weapon. So now, if she was getting slide off here, then you were missing the part that she was holding a sword, that you will see only the blade. So keep in mind when you're drawing your panels, the size. So this is the safe size, the safe area, the bleed area, and the trim area that are very important to keep in mind. This is another panel, for example, that I draw all the way the horses, but it's just the back of the horses, so even if it gets sliced, it doesn't really matter. You you can see that the drawing is going towards the center. This is another example that I made a mistake, but I fixed it online with the Clip Studio Paint, because I had a little bit more margin. So you can see the fingers here. I'm not the best at drawing hands. I'm really upset with myself because my hands drawings need a lot of work. This is not bad, this is not bad, but this one I can do better. And drawing hands is the most difficult part. Anyway, see how far off this image right here? It should be more center, and I even draw a line. It should have been more in the center, so these hands will be more in the treatment, in the safe area, not in the safe area, a little bit out of the safe area, but I draw it all the way here, and there is the risk that it's gonna be either end up in the middle of the book and turn, or slide off. This is gonna be on the left side. So I fixed it with Clip Studio Paint. So when you're drawing by hand, you're allowed to make some mistakes, because then if you finish your drawing online on Clip Studio or Photoshop, you can modify and change and fix mistakes. If you ink everything and like old school, and then you don't work with any software like Clip Studio Paint or Photoshop, then when you take it to the printer, to the editor, I don't know if they probably nowadays they can fix a little bit, but probably there's not much they can do about it, so it will get slide off. So make sure to follow the guidelines, and even buy already ruled paper layout, so it can help you out. But this is basically how it will be in scale, so you can see how small. I don't have an American comic book right here, but and manga that have different. So this one is the same size of this, has more pages, and this is right to left, the classic manga. And you can see this one. I really love pages like that, all drawing, and then you see the panel with the tense expression that you found something important, and you can see the whole page. So even if this one is barely cut off, it doesn't really matter. So, but they have a different size. In Japan, they have different size of books. This is a little bit bigger, but the rule supply is the same, because your drawing is gonna be in scale. And this is already cut off. You can see for a few millimeters. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, you found it useful, and let me know in the comment what you think. If you have any question, and I'll try my best to answer as soon as I see the notification. And I want to just mention that unfortunately 3 weeks ago, one of my dogs, Lucy, passed away. So that's the reason why it took me forever to finish this video, because I was basically a caregiver for my dog, and has been very, very hard, especially for even Finnegan, that his sister basically passed away. I have the mama, Jilly. Today is her birthday, 13 years old. Lucy unfortunately was only 9 years old, and she was fine until one day she stopped chasing the ball, and I figured that she had something going on, but I think it was mostly allergy, because she had a really bad rash under her tail. So she got to the vet, a lot of money, a lot of time wasted, and unfortunately in a couple months she's gone. She had a cancer in her stomach lining. That's why they couldn't figure out what actually she had. But she started to drop weight all of a sudden, and it was just painful to see her, such a healthy dog. And she's a Jack Russell Terrier. All of them are Jack Russells, and usually this breed, they're little things, and they're known for living past 13 years old. Her father was always healthy. He died at 13, and her mom, 13 years old, she's still a rock, she's still jumping, and hopefully I can't have another death. And anyway, it was just it's just hard. And I know for some people say, oh, it's just a dog, who cares? You buy another one. It's not that simple for me. It wasn't. My dogs, I'm very bonded with them. I saw them come to life because I have the mother, I had the father, and I was holding them in my hand. I heard their first whining and crying and barking, and I wasn't expecting 9 years old. She was gone so fast. So it's been hard for me. It looks like every time I started my YouTube channel, some kind of tragedy happened. So it made me slow down all the process and everything. 7 years ago, it was my divorce. Now my dog died right close to 4th of July, which is my favorite holiday, and it's 250 years American birthday, and such a special year. And I thought this year will have been a great year. But still celebrate 4th of July the best as I can. Being all very festive, and my flag outside, inside, and yesterday I saw the fireworks. And I don't want to talk about sad stuff. I just want to say I'm so happy to live here in US. One of my dreams came true. It was moving here in the United States, and I have a life here. And I'm so blessed, and I'm so happy that America adopted me. And I can't believe it's already past 21 years. I moved to the United States legally in 2005. So I was in my mid-20s. Oh my god. It just, I tell you, it flew by. So many things happened. I could write a book about it. A comic book. So many good things and other bad things. Not for the fault of the country or anything. It's life. Life happens. No matter where you go, things happens. But I'm so grateful. I'm so happy to be here to celebrate the 250 years birthday and keep going strong in the US, and enjoy every everybody on 4th of July. Probably by the time I post this video, it's already passed. And today is my doggy birthday, Gilly. She's the mama. She's 13 today. And she's going strong, just like in the United States. And let's hope for the best. Thank you again. Subscribe, leave a like, a comment, and I'll see you in the